check here. Just checking a couple of things. Give me one sec. Okay. Well, I sure hope you can hear me. Last week I had a little issue with the microphone, but I think I am good at this time. All right. So, let's check one more thing here. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Let's get started. All right, good morning, everybody. Ricardo Wilkins here, and this is Coffee with the Cowbell. So today I thought we would do a little talking about, of course, teams, being that I'm a teams geek. But specifically, last week I think I talked about files in teams. That's a conversation, a topic that comes up often, and so I thought that might be a good one to talk about in my series yesterday morning. I don't know if anybody hits the Cute for Teams sessions, but I kind of promised that group I would talk about files today, so I hope that's cool. So what do I mean by that? You know, collaborating on files in teams. As I had mentioned in a previous session, I feel like the adoption of teams sometimes goes in levels, and you have that level where maybe you're just starting to do meetings in teams, and then you get to maybe now I'm chatting in teams as well. Now I am in a team, and now I am collaborating in that team, including documents. You know, obviously people's paths are different, but I feel like that's one of the kind of paths that people may take with their team's adoption. So given that, I thought I'd talk a little bit about files in teams, and you know, how we can collaborate with them, and some of the cool features, some of the ways, you know, it keeps us from switching around to different other applications. We can stay in teams, get our work done, collaborate with others, right? So let me do a couple things here. All right, checking that. Yeah. So we're taking a look here at obviously a team in teams, and really, so I'm not gonna kind of do files in teams 101 per se. But I did want to talk about maybe a few tips and tricks that might make your use of files and teams a little more elegant, I would say. So, you know, the first thing is when we are working with files and teams, if you look here at Joanna, she's got this document that she's talking about here. This is a demo environment, obviously. But this nice little thumbnail to this Word doc, to me, is very convenient, right? She's saying something about the doc. She's got the thumbnail there. I can click it, and right within Teams, that document's going to open up, and I can read it. And in fact, when I hit that conversation button, I don't know if you noticed me click that up at the top, I can also see the conversation we were just looking at, you know, related to this doc. So again, that's Joanna's comment and her post, and those are her teammates' posts about this document, including even I guess this conversation got to the point they felt they should meet about it, and they had that meeting right in line with the conversation. Let me make this a little smaller here. And so, you know, seeing that chat and everything related to the document all within the same context, I think is really great, right? So again, I did all this without having to leave Teams. So if I get out of that, so the next question might be, you know, how do I get that particular nice little thumbnail there, right? And so if we go to a new conversation, let's say I want to start a new conversation about something. You've got the, and hopefully you can see that pretty good. Make this a tad bit bigger. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. That might help a little bit. We've got this new conversation button, obviously. Start up a new conversation. And you've got the paperclip attachments, right? If I click that, I have some options. And in a nutshell, I like to describe these, right? So the starting from the bottom, that's obvious. I got some file locally on my machine I want to put in the team. I want to upload it. I use an upload from my computer. Or I've got a file in my OneDrive in the cloud. So it's in OneDrive as opposed to in this team. I want to get it there. I've got a nice convenient button for that. Obviously, I could do that with upload from my computer as well. And then browsing teams and channels. I'm just going to start with this one because this essentially is implying that the documents, not implying really, but telling us that the document's already in Teams. And really I want to, as this says, I want to share a link to it. Okay. So let's say maybe it's this test doc. So sharing a link is going to give me that nice thumbnail that people can click. Again, I'm doing that without uploading anything new. I'm just sharing a link and Teams displays it appropriately. Now let me close that and go back and do that again. Because you might wonder, well, what is this upload a copy? So these documents that are already here, you know, they're going to get share link. If I was to go somewhere else, you know, I may actually want to take this PowerPoint that's in a separate channel, maybe upload a copy to this channel. This is to some degree what that link is about. And you know, why would I do that? Again, if we remember, every channel has its own files tab, which basically is its own folder in SharePoint. And so I may want to, you know, I may want that file I was just looking at to be uploaded to this channel as opposed to, you know, somewhere else, right? So we may want a copy in here. All right, so that's that piece. But again, when do I use this? So it's a couple reasons why that is very useful. Browsing teams and channels. So one, here's a classic scenario that I often hear used. So, you know, I'm uploading, I want to put some files in the team. And so maybe I'll put 1 or 2 or 3 files in there. And then I go to the channel chat and I say, hey, everybody, I added the so-and-so documents, check the files tab. And that works. You could do that. But if you want to be a super cool Teams user, then I would recommend you do it this way with sharing a link. So instead of do one thing here, go here. Okay. Instead of upload, so yes, I could definitely come to the files area. I could upload my files here and then come back to chat and tell you about it. Or I could just start up a new conversation and upload the files in whichever way I want here in chat. And 2 things are going to happen. One, I'm going to get the nice thumbnail that I just talked about. But 2, that is the same as uploading them to the files area. If I'm uploading them to this post here, they will end up in the files area. So I'm getting the same thing accomplished, but doing it the Cowbell way, let's say, will give me at the end a nice posting that both can tell people that I've uploaded as well as giving them the links in context of the post give them the links to those files. I'm keeping my team members from reading my post and then going and clicking files and then trying to find where in these 100 files my documents are. Or maybe I do modified and newer to older or something like that, but I don't need to do that. I can give them the direct links in the posting. Does that make sense? So I didn't want to do that. So in this case, for instance, uploading, let's say from my computer, do I have anything in here? Of course I don't have any. Well, let's go with that, right? Document from my OneDrive. You can see it's uploading. And I can say I put the document in the files area. Okay, and I can hit send or post. So again, it's there. I should have mentioned Teams to make sure they don't miss this. But it's there. You can click it. But if I go to files, it's there as well. But I didn't make somebody have to come to files and click it and find it. Okay. So I like that. That can be multiple documents. You know, I don't know if I have an example here of somebody using a bunch of docs. I don't think so. But it could be multiple documents there. Now, where that might become different, or you might say, well, that's cool, but I wanted to put my files in a folder. I want to do some organization, right? So I want to come in to files, create a new folder. And I want to put my files in there. So for instance here, let's go ahead and move this one into that folder. Oops. I need to make this a little bigger, I guess. I've moved that file. Let's move this one as well into the Ricardo's files. Okay. So I've got 2. And 2 is still easy to link up, but what if this was 20, right? I don't necessarily want to tag each one when I come over to the post. I don't want to share a link to each one. Because it's really not, if we come in here, there's not a good way to come in here and then like click multiple ones, right? It's one at a time. So if I was trying to give this nice look of 20 files, I still got to do them one at a time. That might not be cool. Or it might just be the fact that I want them in this nice folder and I want to share the folder. What you can see here is not a good way to share the folder either, right? It's just, it clicks in, so I can't like hit it and I can't say like share a link to this folder and get a nice thumbnail of a folder icon. So what do I do then? What I do in this case, it depends. I wouldn't do this for every folder I would create. But if it was significant enough, if it was enough files, and I thought people would really be using that folder, I would do this. I would create a tab. I'd probably use, I think, website. So let me back up. First, let me get I want to get the link to that folder. How do I do that? I would open this in SharePoint. There's my Ricardo's files. And here on the 3 dots is copy link. Hopefully you can see that okay. Copy link. People in Contoso with the link can edit. I really just want people with existing access, because those are the people in my team. So I want this link. So this is a little lesson on the sharing link, all these different ways you can share. I've decided to turn this link into one where it can be used for people who have access already. Hit apply. Okay. Hit copy. And so now I'm coming over to this one, and I'm going to hit the plus symbol for a new tab. Now I'm going to use website tab. Paste that link here. I don't want to post to the channel about this because I'm going to I don't know. I might do that. Let's do it. Let's hit that checkbox. And here I'm going to say Ricardo's folder. Hit save. So now we have a tab. We have a tab that goes to those documents. Okay. A nice little tab. If I go back to chat, we'll see because I hit that checkbox, we've got a nice tab to it. It's got a website tab thumbnail on it. It'd be nice if it was a folder thumbnail, but it is what it is. So I could here say, you know, I've uploaded the documents here, right? I don't tell anybody to go click somewhere because it's right there in the context of what I'm saying. So then they would click here, it would take them to the tab, which takes them to the folder. Nice and elegant, right? Even though that was a link to a SharePoint site, notice that it took away all the stuff on the side and the top. It pretty much looks like a folder location. If I hadn't have done that checkbox, I could also have gone to the tab, hit actually settings. I don't want that. I don't want that. Yeah, I guess that would have been, that is something, copy link to tab. There we go. I was looking for it here. Copy link to tab. That's a link to that Ricardo's folder. So I could have also said I've uploaded the docs here, colon, and I just did a control V or pasted, you know, my clipboard there. I might want this to look a little different, so maybe I will hit, you know, just do it like that, just to make it look good. Oops, and then I got rid of the link. So if you can tell, that's a hyperlink there. So I'm posting that. And so not quite as, you know, I don't get a big fancy thumbnail, but I've uploaded the docs here, Ricardo's folder. They click that, they go right to the tab, which is taking them right to the folder. So, you know, I get that sometimes you do. I'm one of those kind of people that thinks I can just put all my files flat in this folder without a lot of organization, because the organization is already there. In terms of we're in the design channel, these are all design documents, but I do get every now and then you'll need to use some folders, and so yes, we can create folders here, and as you now have seen, we can even reference those folders. So instead of me trying to share a link to 20 docs here, I can just share a link to the folder of those 20 docs, and all's well. Whatever approach you take in what we just did, at least what we have done is avoided saying I uploaded the stuff to files and then expect our team members to go to files and find it themselves. They can certainly do that. It's certainly better than emailing it in a you know, email, but we can be better. We can do better than that. So that's why I really recommend this approach. I just think that looks cleaner. Whether, you know, again, whether it's the link or whether it's the thumbnail, gives you a nice thread now to start talking about those folders in one, you know, particular thread. This looks good as well. You know, it saves, you know, if you did share a link to each file, it does save the person an extra click. They can just go and open it directly versus 2 clicks to get to the folder and then get to the document. Maybe even 2.5 seconds of the shifting, you know. So either way though, it's all better than kind of making them go browse for the files themselves. And again, all of this is important as well because we do want to work on our files with our team members in teams, because that is the like premium experience there. We stay in one tool. Our conversations about the documents are there. Our meetings about the documents are there. The documents are there, and also the real-time collaboration is there. So as I'm opening this file, and someone, hopefully you know about real-time co-authoring. I mean, if somebody else opens this file, they will be in the document at the same time. The days of wait till I do my part, then you can come in and update your part, those days are over. We can come in here at the exact same time and watch each other's cursors move around the screen. All right, so that's why we want to be here. That's why we want to be in the cloud. One, that's where that magic happens. But then that's why we want to be in teams, especially for our team, and even for our external collaboration, right? I could have a guest in this team and they could get that done as well. But again, I'm doing all that without leaving teams. I'm able to create new documents from scratch here, upload them, move them around, all of that good stuff. I have not left. Well, I left teams. I did. You're right. I did leave teams to get that link. I wonder. Actually, let me see here. I did not have to leave teams to get that link. I forgot about that. Yep. I could have stayed 100% in teams in my little demonstration there if I had remembered that the 3 dots on that folder does have a copy link. Same thing we just saw. So I went to the browser for nothing. That was extra clicks. So erase that part of the demo from your memory and just remember that your folders and files all have a copy link option in the 3 dots. All right. If this wasn't live, I would erase it from the video. No, I probably wouldn't, because it's probably good for you to know that too, about that opening SharePoint. There are some situations where opening SharePoint is still needed. So I'm glad we did that. I have no regrets. All right. All right. So so that's good stuff there. Again, it's all about making this conversation area nice. And not only that, so if we come in here, this is the folder to the files. But again, our meetings, our chat, our conversations, our meetings, our files, all in the same place. So this folder, because of the way I did this, has a chat related to it. I mean, if for some reason there was a conversation about this folder going on, it would, when I'm in the folder, I'm one click away from seeing that chat or adding to that chat, right, in the context of working in those files. Okay, so that can stay there. So you could almost imagine, that maybe, I'm trying to change imagine a world where, where 10 people are in this doc real time working on it and also chatting about it here. Any kind of scenario like that. Okay. So that is good stuff. So let me see here, the attach button. Yeah, I think we went through that pretty well. In terms of where files are, I think we kind of called out that Teams uses SharePoint to store those files. That's why we have the Open in SharePoint button. And really all that SharePoint does is make a file, a folder for each channel in your team. Now, what's interesting about this particular demo project here, you can see everything, including the general channel, is here. So if the files that I see here are the files that I'm going to see when I go to general and files, if that makes sense. Now, here's a pop quiz. Where in Teams am I going to see this file, campaign sales data, at the root folder? Where in Teams am I going to see that? The answer, I am not. All that this team is showing me is the files, folders for each channel. That guy is sitting outside of the folders. This is fine for SharePoint. It's not great for Teams. This is like invisible to Teams, right? It's still there, and somebody can go from Teams to SharePoint and find it. But if I really want this to be seen, I really want to move it into one of these folders so that then it can be seen through a channel. There is no files area in this team that isn't related to a channel folder. So I like pointing that out because especially folks who were using SharePoint, like me, who were using SharePoint long before there was ever a Teams, you may be used to doing all your stuff in SharePoint in the document library, which is fine, but just keep in mind if your file use these days wants to be Teams friendly, it needs to be within one of these pre-configured folders. So yes, you can come to SharePoint and upload something, brand new, but if you want Teams to see it, it needs to go in one of these folders. So that's a nice little tip there. Okay. So that's good stuff. So so I can see my files in the Files tab. And I can also see my files with the Files button here on the left rail. I can see the documents and where they reside, including if they're in my OneDrive. Right, so it tells me the location when I modify. So sometimes this is a good button to come to if I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I know it's recently modified. I might come in here. This is showing me everything recent that I have access to. It's not showing me every file in the company. It's showing me every file in the company that I have access to already. So that's recent. Then of course Microsoft Teams basically just doing it by project per se. If I've got stuff in the downloads folder, it's just conveniently giving me access to that, and then actually in my OneDrive. So you got a couple ways to see your OneDrive, right? And so Teams is just making it convenient for you to get at your OneDrive folder here. Of course, you could also get there with Windows Explorer. So these should look the same. And then of course you could get there with the web. So at least 3 ways to get at your OneDrive account, not including your mobile app, which would be another way to get there. I was recently talking to a customer and I reminded them, one unique thing about the browser version of OneDrive is this shared button here. For this customer, this was something they really wanted. I know what what can I get to a place where I can see all the things people have shared with me? I don't know where the file is. I just know somebody shared it to me, shared with you. Someone else has shared this document with me, and then shared by you, things I've shared out to others. In this case, what it's showing, so shared by you, it's stuff shared by me. I can tell from here, from this URL, that I've shared this in a Teams chat. Your private chats, when you're sharing files there, it uses OneDrive. When you're sharing files in a team channel chat, it's using SharePoint. And so I can tell that, in fact, if I hover over this, it's actually giving me some info about that. So it's a conversation with me and Deborah and Megan, and the admin is where I shared that file and when. So, good information is in here, right? How many people, how many times it's been viewed. Looks like I shared this PowerPoint in 2 different chat conversations. Got 2 viewers that have looked at it multiple times. So again, this little pane here is very useful if you've been a long time SharePoint user. You remember the days when we weren't sure, has anybody accessed this page, this document? How can I tell? Let me go look at analytics if I've got it installed and all that good stuff. And so to just have some of these basic analytics there right within view is pretty nice. I believe there are. Well, I'm in OneDrive. If we were in SharePoint, I believe there are some nice analytics for the site behind the scenes as well. All right. And so yeah, so those are just some of the few ways that you can get at all the files there. But as a final note, I would just encourage you to consider doing all your files work in Teams with your team, right? I mean, if you're doing work for something that you're not sharing or collaborating with anyone, I mean, you could do it in Teams, but you're probably doing that in OneDrive. Right? OneDrive is my files, SharePoint is our files, right? But yeah, I would just encourage you to consider Teams for all your files work, to get the value out of the collaboration, the visibility of the files across your team, all of that good stuff. So keep that in mind. The next time you're doing something, the next time maybe you're creating a file that you know is for your team members, you know, and your team members are already a part of you guys are already a part of a team. Why put it in your OneDrive and then share it out later? Store it from the beginning in the Teams area, so that from the beginning it's visible to team members, would be my recommendation. I know some people will say, well, I'm waiting for it to be done before I share it. That's fine. But again, it's your team, it's your trusted team members. You could share it as it's starting. Give your team members an opportunity to chime in during your creation of that document. So it could be an extra benefit. I know some people like to hold their stuff tight till it's ready. You might consider working out loud, as we call it, and starting that thing from scratch in Teams. That's all I'm saying. So I hope that was helpful. Just a little bit of talking about Teams here on a Saturday morning. And hope you enjoyed Coffee with the Cowbell. And I'll probably see you, I don't know, it might be a couple of weeks. The holidays are here. But we'll see you again. All right, have a good one.